This is where we say goodbye. At least for now. Not permanently, but for now. I'm hitting the road. Former topiary pig, now coated in a grassy substance made of cloth. Oh, what's this down here? Is that a cigarette butt? I understand the coffee. I completely get being caffeinated, but the cigarette, get back to your old ways. All right, I'll see you soon. I'll see you at the end of the month. After a while, Argyle. Welcome everyone, Adam. TheDailyWoo here. This time tomorrow I will be on an airliner flying across the country. Because that's what you do in an airliner, unless you're on the tarmac sitting. But I digress. Today I'm going to trek up and down Hollywood Boulevard. I've done it before, and I'm doing it again, but this time for the last time. For now, until I return later. But for now, let's just go. It's my second channel, daily vlog channel. It's TheDailyWoo. Also starting off with a smoothie, cocoa, dates, almond milk, almond butter maybe, and a few other things. There's so much in here, I can't even keep track. It's pretty freaking good. I do love this mural, and I do love this wide lens that lets me capture the whole thing by basically standing nearly directly in front of it. I mean, I'm in the road per se, but you can see the whole mural from just a few feet away. When I use my cell phone, this is basically what the shot looks like. The lens I'm using is a 10 to 18. Right now it's set on 18. But check this out. You can go back 8 notches to this. Impressive. Most impressive. Fun fact, if you've ever been to MGM/Hollywood Studios in Florida or DCA Disney California Adventure in Anaheim, this building might look familiar to you. That's because they modeled 2 specific structures after this exact address. Except Disney doesn't have a huge spider on the side of theirs. And I have to wonder if these 2 lovely ladies had any clue they were going to be part of a beer advertisement when they took a photo with that guy. At first I thought that was a poorly drawn shark, but in reality, it's a mural here on the side of the shutter for Dune. That's pretty freaking cool, right? Remember back when the little Space Invader guys were popping up everywhere? There's a couple right here as well on the side of that building. I never noticed that before. I guess you could say I should have used my Columbo-like research skills a little better up until this point. Or, check it out, Raymond Burr, Perry Mason. He was pretty good at figuring things out as well. Here's a pretty good one of George and Gracie. Every time I think of George Burns, I think of the movie Oh God, You Devil or 18 Again. I know he was in a lot of different stuff, but that's the 2 that always immediately pop into my head. An interesting story about Robert Wadlow, who stood 8 feet 11 inches tall, and now Guinness Book of World Records and Ripley's Believe It or Not heavily promote that fact. My Sunday school teacher when I lived in Eufaula, Oklahoma, when she was young, went to school with this gentleman, and she said when he walked down the stairs, he had to go sideways. He had to take his feet, turn them to the side, just to walk down the stairs, or he would tip over forward. That is what he had to deal with on a daily basis. And as I stand here in the footprints of the one and only Sylvester Stallone, this is a good opportunity to let you know that I will not be attending the final day of the great movie ride on August 13th. It closes its doors for good in Florida. My favorite theme park. I just had to let it go a long time ago. It has moved on. MGM is no more, and I will not be there. I'll be there in spirit, but not in person. I did give it a lot of thought, however, but after Streets of America went away about a year ago, I pretty much realized that my childhood, the park that I grew to love in the early 90s, was erased from existence. Not to get too deep into the psyche of what is Adam the Woo, but when I was very young, into my preteen and teen years, I was enamored. I was completely overwhelmed and moderately interested in the way movies and television and commercials were filmed, especially cameras that were involved and the editing process and sound stages. And that theme park in Florida, MGM Studios, in a roundabout weird way was my first introduction to this place. Way before I visited California, I went there, and it's some strange, bizarre Twilight Zone type universe. It might possibly had a hand in the fact on why I now reside in the actual Hollywood. Life is funny that way. The home of the glitz, the glamour, and the fun. Long famous for its storied past, it is renowned for its vibrant street scene, entertainment seekers, tourists, residents, students, and business professionals alike thrive together in this walkable neighborhood, bisected by Hollywood Boulevard, which is arguably the busiest pedestrian thoroughfare in all of LA. Here's a nice glary sun bleached out reflection of the neighborhood in question. There's the Capitol Records building right up there, Hollywood and Vine, and about a half a mile, maybe a little more than half a mile down the boulevard, past all these historic restaurants and shops filled with all types of history, is the Chinese Theater right in there. And I have finally decided on a name for that guy busting out of the roof. Ready for this? Buster. It kind of just makes sense. Bustin' makes him feel good. They have placed a chunk of heavy-duty plastic over this piece of epic graffiti. And my friend Jordan was telling me on the other side of this theater there used to be another Banksy piece right there, but it was removed, hence the plastic on the other side to protect it. You know you have made it in the graffiti and spray paint world when you do something completely not allowed, somewhat considered illegal, and the local residents and business owners do their darndest to make sure it's going to stay there forever. Pretty awesome. I have to wonder, has he ever taken that down any sweet slides? Kenny Baker, also known as R2-D2 from Star Wars. He has a star right next to Eve Arden. And Grace Kelly, also in the general vicinity. C. Aubrey Smith, right there. See it? I stand corrected. That was not the Mr. Baker I thought it was. He performed with Jack Benny in the 1930s, doing songs and radio. You could tell because on the star is a radio microphone and not a movie camera. I didn't realize it until I looked it up. You learn something new every day. The one and only Cary Grant. There's his star, followed by Henry Renee. And remember the other day we were talking about people who had a first and last name that were the same? This is kind of in the same ballpark, right? First and last name that are very similar, even though kind of nickname-ish. And Clark Gable, old school Hollywood at its finest. It's interesting because there's a cigarette butt there, and there's one back here on Cary Grant's. Is it some sort of homage to the legends? It's probably just a random coincidence, to be honest. I have some very tedious, non-exciting, non-overwhelming things to take care of at the homestead before departing mañana. But before I leave you today, I just want to tell you, I really like being here and living here and having this as my home base, if you will. There's always going to be a huge part of me that yearns, longs, and thrives for new places, new endeavors, new adventures. But when it comes to having a stationary place to hang my hat, if you will, I like it here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm looking forward to traveling. Vlog over.